heard me share the product formula descriptions. Probably about half the room. Because we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it a few times because it's important that we understand this. I want to start by saying that we don't have any magic berries. We didn't go into a forest in Colombia and find any new discoveries that are guaranteed to change mankind's life. I've been a chiropractor since 1982. And in the context of that, everybody brings the new products to my office first. I've been blessed to have a very successful practice, hundreds of people through that office every day, and my staff will attest to the fact that every time there's a new product, where do they come first? They can spot them once they come through the door. When somebody has a new product, a new testing procedure, or something else. So what we did was we took a more common sense approach to this whole thing that we call nutrition and supplementation. It's a byproduct of my life's experiences. And let me begin by saying, there is no value in any product that isn't attached to meaningful lifestyle changes as well. Does that make sense? Yeah. We've gotten into trouble in this country because we don't want to make the sacrifices that it takes to become healthy. So we're reliant on a scientist that's going to develop a magic pill to save us from cancer, heart disease, and arthritis. Well, I hate to be the one to burst the bubble, but Santa's not coming. Okay, does that make sense? So we all have to take responsibility. Beginning back in my early years in chiropractic, very much involved, and even before that, in the late 70s, I had the good fortune of meeting a real famous bodybuilder at the time. His name was Rory Littlemeyer. How many of you have ever heard that name? Famous bodybuilder, great guy, great man. He was getting ready to take over when Arnold Schwarzenegger retired in 1980. Last time he competed in Olympia was in 1980. So after that, they take turns. It was Rory's turn after that. We had lunch with Joe Weider, strategizing how this was all going to take place and what Rory's responsibilities were going to be. 3 weeks before the Nationals, that qualifies him to get on the professional stage and therefore take over Arnold's mantle. His daughter was vaccinated. She immediately went into convulsions, and they got her to the hospital, saved her life. But they had told her that she would never be functional. She would need around-the-clock care for the rest of her life. Well, Rory and I were already training a lot of athletes, some of them very famous. Rory was a strength coach for Wayne Gretzky and his hockey team at the time. So what we did was we developed some of the applications that we have with the athletes in order for them to cleanse and nutrify their bodies and systems to his little daughter. We did some of the things that we're going to be talking about here insofar as cleansing the liver is concerned and doing a bunch of other wonderful things. Got her on a very conscientious supplement regimen so that the brain that's made from fat and proteins had everything that it could to help repair the damage. 2 years ago, she graduated from junior college. Isn't that amazing? Statistics are based on averages, and nobody in this room is average.
Right.
Does that make sense? 98.6 is an average temperature. It's not normal for you, and it's not normal for me. We try to plug dynamic, ever-changing human beings into a cookbook, and it doesn't work. So in our thought process, we want to do a couple things. We want to make sure this body is functioning as close to the blueprint as is possible. And then when we give it a supplement, the body is smart enough to take from that supplement what it needs on a day-by-day basis if we can be smart enough to figure out what those basic ingredients and building blocks are. And that's exactly what we've done in this company. Does that make sense? I'm going to open up a bottle of water here. My mouth's getting a little bit dry. I took some of our multi-sub. We're going to have samples back there, but I wouldn't snitch a sample. There's something about our multiple. I'm telling you, sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Does that make sense? And there's something in there that's very different. It's very profound. So as you guys sample that today, pay attention. Pay attention to how you feel, your energy levels. Pay attention to your moods and everything else, because the delivery system is unique. And nothing in the context of what we've done has been done before. Make sense? Okay, hold on. You open this up. Lori, you did a great job. Were you nervous?
A little bit.
Well, once you start talking, not nervous anymore.
About this.
She's a natural communicator. And that's an inside joke. At any rate. Let me ask you all a question. We're going to see who has dirty minds here. What's the sexiest organ in the body? What's the sexiest organ in the body?
Liver.
The liver! Ooh, you say liver, it's a buzzkill, isn't it? No matter thinking about, you think about liver and it's like, oh boy. You know what I mean? How many of you ever had to eat it on Sundays with liver and onions fried in the pan? It's kind of disgusting. Some people like it. I'm not one of them. Why is the liver the sexiest organ in the body? Everything that makes someone healthy looking, attractive, and sexy is developed in that liver. Your liver has to transaminate proteins to make muscle. It has to develop the collagen that goes into healthy hair, skin, teeth, and nails. If the liver is toxic, the body never functions at its optimum. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Your liver has to break down chemical compounds all day long. Let me ask you the group this, and be honest. How many here have put on weight while eating the same amount? They can't explain it. Anybody?
Yep.
And if we're honest with ourselves, just about everybody. And it's usually right in the midsection. That is a byproduct of liver toxicity. You know why? Your body makes a hormone. It's called thyroid hormone. Does everybody know what the thyroid does? It kind of keeps your metabolism functioning the way that it's supposed to. Your body also makes something called estrogen. When that estrogen denatures, estradiol's free estrogen and denatured estrogen build up in the bloodstream, and they actually block thyroid function. So people have all the symptoms of a thyroid that's slowing down, but when they get a blood panel, they're told that everything's normal. Why is that? Because the estrogen levels in the body have accelerated and the thyroid can't compete. Does that make sense to everybody? The symptoms of a hypothyroid condition are a slower and slower metabolism, thinning hair, no energy, fat around the midsection. Does that make sense? So the first of the products that we developed in doing cleanses, first of all, how many here have done a cleanse with another company of other types? Feel good when you do it, don't you?
Yep.
But then about 2 or 3 days after the cleanse, that fog that you seem to be cleared from for a little bit falls over you again, doesn't it? Because the liver was never addressed in the first place. The first step in any cleanse is to get the organ that's responsible for cleansing human beings functioning as close to 100% as is possible. Does that make sense? So in our liver pure system, that's what it's intended and designed to do. This is it. Do you love that? I love seeing everything now. You all have done something spectacular because you exercised faith. You got here before anybody else did. We didn't even have a product to give you, and you're still here. Give yourself a- So when we're the next Herbalife, you got stories to tell your children and your children's children. And we will be, I guarantee you. So back to our liver pure product. See, is it okay if I be a little bit graphic? Am I going to gross anybody out? Nobody's eating right now, are they? Okay. When you use this system, it only takes it's about a 12-hour system that starts the cleansing process. The things that your body will release, you will be very, very thankful that they're not in your body anymore. I get so thankful. My God, are you kidding me? That was in me? See, and even if it's psychological, I don't care. I look at that. The first time I did a cleanse, I looked at that. I couldn't believe it. The bright greens and reds, the gallstones that my body passed, it was, you know, I don't want to get too graphic, but I don't want you to miss the point either. There are so many poisons and toxins that have accumulated in most of us. As soon as you get rid of them, you're going to notice a couple things that change right away. First of all, your metabolism is going to kick up a notch. Why? Because now your thyroid gland is beginning to function again. Remember, your thyroid was always functioning to begin with, and it was always producing the hormone. It just couldn't get to where it needed to be because of all the excess estrogen. Once the liver becomes clear and functional again, at closer to its capacity, it starts breaking down the estrogen immediately, and you notice the difference immediately. Does that make sense? So let me read the product description. The True to Life Liver Cleanse is a safe and effective way to make sure that the body's chemical factory is functioning at 100% of its capacity. The functions of this vital organ are too many to list completely here, but it's safe to say that health can never be maintained without liver health and full function. Our system helps maximize the body's ability to avoid the poisons mobilized by the detoxification process so they are less likely reabsorbed. And what does this mean to you? Your efforts in detoxification, health restoration, and weight loss are maximized and never wasted. Waste not, want not. That's the True to Life way. See, when we go through a cleansing process, it's not real terrible, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Don't you want the efforts in that context to be maximized?
Yes.
Don't you want to have the maximal amount of safe weight loss and highest restoration of energy?
Yes.
And it doesn't make any sense to do it any other way that does it.
No.
Okay. Go ahead, the next product.